The 2018 U.S. Youth Soccer National Championships are brought to you by AE Engine, AmericanEagle.com, Bag Tags, Bubba Burger, Cliff Kids, Dick's Sporting Goods, Expand a Brand, Fusionetics, Major League Soccer, Nestle's Nesquik, Nike, Positive Coaching Alliance, Premier International Tours, Soccer Shots, Sun-Made Raisins, Target, Turbo Sports Group, United Soccer Coaches, Wilson Trophy Company, and Yokohama.
It was 1935, the year that Elvis and Sandy Koufax were born. It was a year of many firsts, including the first NFL draft, the first Monopoly board game went on sale, Social Security began, and Babe Ruth hit his last home run. In addition to these milestones, the National Junior Challenge Cup was founded in 1935, offering a youth competition for young men in the United States. The cup was later named the James P. McGuire Cup, after the late U.S. soccer president, who himself was quite a standout in his earlier days, winning the U.S. Open Cup in 1929. McGuire would lead U.S. soccer and earn an international reputation as an excellent leader.
The Jim McGuire Cup was started in 1935. It was the only cup that the United States Soccer Federation had for youth players. And it was a very good competition, and I can tell you, I mean, this was the highlight of my soccer career to be a champion in 1954.
This storied cup, now the oldest trophy in youth sport.
It has a history, it has a meaning, I think it has tradition. So I think it's extremely important for our competitions, for all the age groups that kind of emulate the McGuire Cup.
Winning the McGuire Cup is huge, just because all that history that comes along with the oldest trophy in youth sports period, that's really big for us.
Who will write their name in the next chapter of the storied McGuire Cup?
Hello everyone and welcome to Frisco, Texas, site of the 2018 U.S. Youth Soccer National Championships. I'm Todd Panula and I'm here to bring you all of this exciting action as it's the U19 Girls Final between NSA Shock and their rivals Utah FC. These two teams faced off just a few days ago in group play, with NSA Shock coming out and scoring the first goal, but it would end with a 1-1 draw as Utah FC was able to pilfer a goal back just before the end of the game, and that would be the main difference in this one. These two teams very even in terms of what they like to do. They like to get forward, try to score goals. NSA Shock, a much better defensive team, at least statistically, as they have 1 goal against throughout the entire tournament, countered by 2 goals against for Utah FC. Utah a little bit more prevalent on the offensive side of things, and they will manage to try to score here today, because that is their key to victory, is scoring early, perhaps scoring often. They have 9 goals coming into tonight's game, countered by 5 for NSA Shock. So the Shock depending much more on their defense. An interesting situation as Kendra Pasquale will start the game, but she has a broken collarbone, so basically they're going to take the kickoff, send it out of bounds, and she will be substituted out just so that she can have a little bit of playing time here in this national final. We are underway. National championship final. Pasquale gets a touch on the ball and is sent out. And we will restart things with the throw. Almost a miscue there, as they weren't about to let Pasquale in, but she is let back onto the field, and now she will take a seat on the bench. Checking in for her is Sophia Sinise. The blacks being worn by Utah FC, NSA Shock wearing the reds. The wind is incredibly strong right now. It is going to play a big factor. Hopefully you can hear me all right and it's not too annoying blowing into the mic, because it's basically hitting me right in the face, and it's going to be a definite intrigue into this game. Utah FC with possession as they start things from their back line. Salveson able to get it up towards the midfield, but intercepted there. Coming over here towards the near side, and here's Siebers with the right foot, keeping it in along the line. Hands it off over towards Dudas. Dudas was the goal scorer back in that group stage game. She would like to get another one here today and perhaps make that one stand up instead of having it just be a 1-1 game. This one cannot end in a draw. If we have to go to overtime, there will be 2 15-minute halves. They'll play both of them. No golden goal. We have to play the entirety. And then we would go to penalty shootouts from there. But these teams hoping that they can avoid just such a situation, as they would like to end this in regulation one way or the other. The punt caught by the wind, and that one is sailed away out. Siebers puts it back in off the throw, looking for Dudas. Instead, it's turned around and stolen by Dean. She sends it back towards the middle of the pitch. The center half sends it up towards the right wing. Pestana trying to run onto it, and again the wind catches a hold, and that one goes into touch. Neither team with good possession here in their first opening moments. Just trying to kind of feel this game out, see how the wind is going to affect it. So far we've had a good bit of play here on the near sideline, and a lot of that does have to do with the wind, as it's been pushing it this direction the entire time. Trying to go through the wickets, but instead intercepted by Card. Back in the hands of Bisher. She sends it over here to Dudas on the left. Dudas continues it on. Handed right back after Sinise. Siebers gets a right foot onto it, sending it just outside the 18, and the defender came over. Salveson able to send it into touch. It'll be an NSA throw. NSA hailing from Naperville, Illinois. coming out of the Midwest region. Taken in the midfield. Siebers has to come over here in from her left back position, sends it all the way back. Alessio. Strong right foot, cuts it through the wind, flicked on at the half line, but really no direction behind it. Back through the center circle, taken down by Sinise. She's spun around by the defender. All the way back for Salveson. Lobbed up through the circle again. One touch from Tolman. Looking over for Pastana, but again, the wind catches a hold. Dean takes it down. Carson with it. Passes to her defensive side of the midfield. Lobbed up towards the box. It's going to catch up for Tolman. Defender dealing with her. A little bit of contact. Referee emphatically says no. Dean, the step over, lets it run out. National championship on the line. Here's Carson. Once again denied nicely by the defenders. Siebers has a decent amount of speed, but unable to catch that one. Jessica Siebers, the lone Siebers sister, taking place in this national final. There was a red card handed out to Alyssa Siebers back in that group stage game. Shooting star throw-in, gets too much air under it, so it barely gets into the box. Dudas tried to chase it down, as did Carson. Carson comes away with it, pushing up towards the end line. This one trickling towards goal, and Alessio will let it run out. Alessio with a really strong tournament. Only allowed one goal, and that goal came in that game against Utah FC. Other than that, she's pitched a couple shutouts here in this tournament. Obviously, she would love to have another one with the goose egg up on the board. Salveson up to Pastana. Header takes a bounce. Carson tied up by Siebers, and now Pastana. Pastana back in, looking for Tolman, but she was surrounded by red. Sliding challenge, nobody coming up with it, and now they're going to say the foul come out. Dangerous play. Once again, this is the windiest day we've had here all week in Frisco. We had a nice breeze, good strong breeze, but a breeze nevertheless on day number 1 of the tournament. And ever since then, it's mainly been calm, definitely not cool, but we have a nice evening here for this national final. It'll be an NSA throw as they try to work up onto the attack. Pastana calling out defensive marks. Dudas with the cross, a little too direct off the side of the foot, and that one goes out. Nielsen puts it into play. Wearing a different goalkeeping jersey here today, hoping that that one will change your luck. Goalkeepers, I know from experience, somewhat of a superstitious lot. So we get a foul in the midfield about 10 yards outside the circle. Lobbed up towards the box as the wind picks up again. strongly blowing right across the field, right into your living rooms. We hope you're enjoying this matchup for you, whether you're watching in Illinois, Utah, or anywhere in between or outward. Carson laid it back, now for Tolman, off the side of her foot, tries to go through the wickets, but Johnson was strong on the ball. Brady serves it forward, but not quite on for Donaldson. Well-weighted ball under normal conditions, but as Dudas couldn't make the catch, so to speak, the wind ended up getting hold. Carson, and the sliding tackle, able to take that one, and then there's a foul in behind. Siebers will take the free kick. And then as I say that, in steps Catherine Johnson. A high defensive line employed by Utah FC. Now they go off to the races, cutting that one through the wind, but it curled in for the defender. Card, awkward right foot, still gets it to Pastana. Not sure that was intentional, but it'll work out for Utah FC. And then we'll get a foul. Bisher able to draw that one. Too much contact in from behind. The official having an extra word with Brianna Carson. Interesting spot, seeing as the contact happened on the other side of the line, at least from what I saw. Siebers puts it into play, curls it towards the corner flag, and that one's going to roll out. That's probably the biggest impact the wind is going to have. Obviously, everybody can tell that it's going to be able to take those high balls in directions. But even some of the ones on the ground, the wind is blowing so hard that those passes that you like to kind of tiptoe along the line with, they're just not going to work. Dudas finds a bit of space, wants to get the left-footed cross off the defender, corner kick. So a set-piece opportunity now for NSA Shock. Both coaches right now relatively calm on their sidelines, knowing that they've done all they can. They've implemented the game plan, given out the formation, handed out instructions. All they can do is sit and watch and hope that their players play up to the best of their potential. The corner kick in, a decent left foot right out towards the penalty spot. Shot came in, and that one from Sinise ends up wide. Remember, fans, we will show the trophy presentation right here on this stream, brought to you by Turbo Sports Group, as we're in the 12th minute of play. But there will also be a link at the bottom of this YouTube video that will take you to the actual medal ceremony, and that will occur roughly 15 minutes after the end of this stream. Players, once they have had their chance to celebrate with the trophy and get congratulations and take pictures with family members, will have an opportunity to head across to the medal stage. So again, about 15 minutes, give or take. Might be a little bit longer depending on how much milling around there is. Some disgruntled faces over here on the NSA sideline as they didn't think that was a foul. Brand new Nike soccer balls, freshly white with a mix of black in there. Brought out just for these finals. The flag stays down. Shot came in from Brockbank, but that was blocked. A chance for Donaldson, and again, too many red kits. Trying to lob one over the top. Card's going to get there. Mishandles it though. Now she has to play it all the way back. Nielsen, not under too much pressure. Swanson. Sinise gives it back for Swanson. Cheeky little back heel. Now Wargo looking for Dudas. Didn't get all the way through. Tolman feels the pressure right on her back. Dean. And again, anything close to that sideline is going to end up going out. The sun's still out, providing good amount of light, but the lights are on here. As into the second half, they will be a little more necessary. Here's Carson, just right of midfield. Pastana was given a run, but Siebers was wise to that. Cerna deciding that discretion was the better part of valor. Just chopping that one out, allowing her teammates to come back in defensive aid. Another shooting star throw in, a little bit more power behind it this time. Carson brings it down. Dean at the edge of the box, left-footed curler. Defender got in front of it. That one might have been going for that far post. Carson steps into it. Now Pastana. Dean fakes the shot, continues it on, but Carson was offside. Pastana does hold it in. Good bit of speed. Laid it back for Carson. Out for a corner. Brady with a good corner towards the back post. Card all the way back. Salveson. Brady brought it down, but not under enough control. And now we get a whistle in a dangerous area. Free kick from about 30 yards, maybe just a touch more. But Brady's got the foot behind her if she wants to go for goal. Saw a free kick from a similar position, though on the other side of the field in the Man United Liverpool friendly today. Glorious finish. Is this one easily caught by the goalkeeper, Alessio? Not too much trouble behind that one, but she springs a quick counter. Flynn working up the right-hand side, but the touch was too heavy. Now a loose ball comes in towards the box. The shot scrapes wide. Sinise with the first really quality chance for NSA Shock, but unfortunately she couldn't quite put it in. It was a really solid effort, almost making Utah FC pay for a mistake as there was a miscue on the back. Ball mistakenly let run through. And Sinise able to almost finish it off. But we remain scoreless. Card in an aerial battle with Bisher. Sinise, Swanson, Brockbank for Utah FC. Swanson. Not much space right now. Trying to go over the top. Sinise, again, looking for that little chip pass. But the attackers were of two different minds right there. Through the midfield, awkwardly off the thigh of Bisher. She's able to steal it back, but then it's taken back right away. a tussle here just on the edge of the attacking third for Utah FC. This one goes into touch. Dean will have it. Carson. Wargo was right on her. Here's Card. Taken by Bisher in the midfield. Salveson. Straight ball for Donaldson. Trying to get it up for Tolman. No foul given. That doesn't make some of the Utah fans happy, as Tolman went hard to the ground. Challenge in from Cerna. Again, lobbing one over the top, trying to take advantage of that wind. It's very difficult to deal with for the defenders, because even if it's not necessarily going the place that the kicker intended it to, it forces them to kind of turn around, turn their heads, try to find it. Is this one ridden out by Siebers, as she did a nice job to shield away Pestana. Wind just ever present, not a bit let up. Reminds me of my time at the University of Kansas, wind coming across the Kansas plains, and much the way it is right now across the plains of North Texas. Pestana stomps on it. Brady let it run through, but didn't realize there was a defender right there. She goes to ground looking for a foul, nothing there. Card. Again for Brady. Tried to get cute with it, intended that one for Brockbank. Flynn chasing it. Salveson with Sinise right on her. Johnson. Wargo. On the ground for Flynn. Wise idea. She carries towards the corner flag and then cuts back. Laced in towards the box. Dudas. Swanson. Dudas. Flag was up. .50 ball won by Bisher. Here's Sinise, Swanson, trying to find Dudas over the top. Dudas centers it right into the defender. Dudas again asking questions. And it'll be a corner kick. Good pressure from both sides, but gaining more time in the goal box has been NSA Shock. Headed away hard by Donaldson. Back out again. Another decent cross, tough to handle, score! Flynn with her third goal of the tournament. In the 23rd minute, NSA Shock with an absolute strike from the right wing, Aaron Flynn. back out again. So now the substitution being made coming into the game. Utah FC, Alyssa Spackman into the game. She replaces actually, she's going to replace Pestana here on the right, but Pestana stays in the game. She moves over towards the left wing as they try to increase their attacking presence. Tolman, who had been more in a striker role, has been pushed back into more of that false nine. So she'll just kind of tuck in behind. Alessio dives out onto that one. It was a bit awkward there with the defender, but ends up covering it up. So a 23rd minute goal puts NSA Shock on top and in control. These two teams had a rather physical affair in their group stage match on the last day of the group stages. And now we get a stoppage, and apparently they're going to take a water break. Interesting decision, given the fact that it's really not all that hot with all the wind. But better safe than sorry, especially with as hot as it's been all week. We saw several players, mostly on the men's side of things, but a couple girls here or there on the third day of the group stages starting to feel the effects. Keeling over, getting sick, not necessarily keeling over in terms of falling over, but just kind of hands on knees type of situation. So everybody trying to stay hydrated within this tournament, and it's been hard to do. Even the officials getting a little bit of water. But back to the point that I was making before we had the water break, NSA Shock and Utah FC had a very physical matchup, and there was questions about the officiating. Ultimately, I think the official did a good job in terms of keeping it even. The only thing that you could say that you might agree with the coaches about, and there were comments from both sides, was the control over the game. And I think that was Coach Ben Boyd's biggest problem with Alyssa Siebers getting a red card. I don't think he necessarily had a problem with the red card in and of itself, because what basically happened was there was a ponytail pull and basically a WWE style takedown. But Coach Boyd's words to the official right after that were that if he had gotten things under control before that, that wouldn't have been necessary. You can argue that until you're blue in the face. Ultimately, these two teams having to push the reset button here today, not allow any of that bad blood to come in, because if you turn this into a hockey game, ultimately that's not the way that you want to settle a championship in terms of settling things out on the pitch. But NSA Shock have done what they wanted to do. They've scored the opening goal, as they did in that group stage match. Now it's up to Utah FC to try to find an equalizer. Trying to send it over to Pestana. Nicely flicked on. Pestana chests it down, loose along the semicircle, but NSA are able to clear. Again, off of the defender, as it was last touched by Carson. Into touch, and an NSA throw. The one thing that these two teams do have in common was a manhandling of Invictus. NSA Shock won 3-0 on day one over Invictus, and then a 7-0 drubbing of Invictus by Utah FC. Just wasn't necessarily the tournament that Invictus envisioned, as they allowed 22 goals in the tournament. And they played very hard to get here, were most deserving, but sometimes you just don't have the kind of tournament you would like. Run into some hot teams, as they did, and they will have to regroup and continue their careers, whereas the chances may come. There's Dudas. Wargo keeps it alive. Sinise. Siebers up towards the line. Bisher on the right foot, carrying it towards the left. Slices back. Brockbank. Bisher over the top, called for the foul. So free kick to Utah FC as they try to find their way. Substitution coming in. Tolman is out. Coming in is Carly Nyland. Another substitution will be made momentarily. Brockbank. Card. Not quite where she wanted that one. This one will come over here on the near sideline. Another sub coming in for Utah FC as they try to find the right lineup to get themselves back into this one. Pastana will come in and Haley Hillock will check into the game. NSA have changed up their back four just a little bit, at least in terms of spots on the field. Amy Tenhaken will play the left back role that was initially taken up by Jessica Siebers. She is over on the right now. Substitution coming in now for NSA Shock as Kennedy Messina into the game. She takes the place of Sophia Sinise. Over the head of Swanson, Card is there. We'll do it all over again, but a little further down the field. Once again, want to welcome you in here to Frisco, Texas. If you're just joining us, 1-0 NSA Shock on a 23rd minute goal from Aaron Flynn. Hope you're enjoying this Turbo Sports production of the USU Soccer National Championships. Turbo Sports has been proud to bring you all of the action throughout this tournament. And once again, we want to remind you that the medal ceremony will take place on a different feed than this one. So once the game is over, once the trophy has been handed out, we sign off for the night. You can check the description below and there will be a link. And that will occur about 15 to 20 minutes afterwards. You can watch the championship ceremony over on the main stage. Still a lot of soccer to be played between now and then, as the wind continues to be relentless. Here's Messina, over to Flynn, as we're in the 33rd minute. She looks for the cross, it was touched out. It'll be a throw. Sub coming in now for Utah FC is Camila Rentamales will come into the game. She will replace Samantha Brady. It's been interesting the way this tournament has kind of played out, not just within this age bracket, as that one's grabbed by Nielsen, but really all of the age brackets have had a similar situation with one team or another, in that players that have come off the bench, not in every game, but for the most part, oftentimes end up leading their team in scoring. Right now, Utah FC, Carly Nyland leads their team with 3 goals. But she came off the bench and just entered the game a few minutes ago. Aaron Flynn right now leading NSA Shock in goals with 3, but she's been mainly a starter. Every now and then we've seen her come off the bench in a relief role. This one goes almost across the other field. That is the one drawback to these tournament formats. You have so many fields in close proximity that you're going to have balls from other fields going other directions. This one goes out, goal kick. Wind continues to blow. The official in the first half already having to give a warning to Bella Elisio. Headed down by Lucas. Here's Flynn for NSA. Wargo. A diving challenge. Hillock able to slow that up. Brockbank. Salveson lays one over the top for an island. It lays up for her. Kaylee Cerna was complaining of knee pain to the trainer before the game, but didn't show any right there. She was constantly in the back pocket of the defender, and a foul given right around the midfield stripe. Long free kick towards the edge of the 18. No further. Salveson. Dean. Looking for Hillock. Cerna. Not quite enough on that to get it over the top to Messina. Up into the air, won by Wargo, back and forth, off the head ball. And a miss kick there by Salveson. And that one was a true miss kick as we had a brief respite from the wind as it's calmed down here for about 5 seconds. And now as I say that, it comes back up. Fans over on the far side, relatively protected from the wind. They have the hill in behind them as well as a little string of trees. Everybody in the pitch and on westward exposed. Here's Messina. Ten Haken into the box. Drops one for Wargo. A chance for Siebers. Now another chance to save. Rebound loose. Another shot. Score! NSA double up their lead. So in the 39th minute, NSA have taken a 2-0 lead as they finally get things started once again. Lobbing one over the top, trying to race down to it is Spackman, but she won't be able to catch up to it. Rolled around by Bisher, intercepted by Card. Utah FC in a situation now where they almost have to find an answer before the half to really give themselves an opportunity. Obviously, as an offensive team, they're more than capable of coming back in this one and scoring 2 goals within the half, but you don't necessarily want to have to do that. You'd love to get one before the break and then potentially spend the rest of the 45 looking for an equalizer. Off the hip of Flynn, Salveson almost had her pocket picked. Pushed to the right by Cerna. Through the wickets, rather embarrassingly, of Hillock. She looks a little bit sheepish afterward. Into touch along the near sideline. Throw in for Ten Haken. Pushing towards the box again. Dudas, a little too physical. Time ticking away on this first 45. 2-0 your score. NSA Shock have doubled their lead. One in the 23rd and one in the 38th minute. Flynn with a little poke at it. Messina was sandwiched. Warrego. Bisher. Stolen by Spackman. Given back after Nyland had a touch. Ten Haken. Good ball up the sideline. Good bit of weight. Nobody making the run to that particular position. All the way back for Alessio. This is her first touch in probably about 5 minutes. Swanson on through, but instead picked up Midgley. Lob forward. Nyland. Sievers right in her back pocket. Lucas steps in, and the challenge from Wargo is punished. Card will put it back into play. Alessio waiting about 5 yards off her line. Doesn't even get into the 18-yard box. Flynn. Ten Haken right into the midsection. Julia Dean suffering no ill effects from that one, other than disappointment at not coming up with possession. It's been a very well played game from both sides. Obviously, Utah FC going to be disappointed with their offensive output or lack thereof. They've played a pretty solid defensively, but NSA just finding ways to make their own holes and create their own luck. Lucas Salvacin up to the midfield. Serna bangs it back the other way. Salvacin. Ten Haken avoids the sliding challenge. Now she pushes upfield. Swanson switches the point of attack. Gets a bit of a shove. Referee spots it. Doesn't play the advantage, so apparently he didn't think there was a foul. Dudas lays it back to Siebers. Jessica Siebers ran out of real estate, but that'll be played out and a corner kick. So another dangerous opportunity, and if NSA can poach one before the end of the half, you don't want to say that that's all she wrote, but that might be all she wrote. Three minutes of additional time going to be added on to the end of this half. The Wynn took that one. Slight wasted opportunity as it goes out for a goal kick. Nielsen again puts a strong right foot into it, but very difficult with these goal kicks and the wind going against you. Ten Haken. Fisher got it up to Swanson. Swanson able to keep it in. Swanson looking inside the box. Too many players in black. Lucas takes a bit of a bump. We're going to have to do it all over again as the ball carries over onto the other field. A fresh one in on the pitch. Intercepted by Spackman. Looking for Hillock. Dangerously back to Midgley. That one's probably going to clear the field as well. Messina taking on Card. Card able to win it. At this point, the 13 and under boys final is probably getting a little bit tired of sealing the ball from our field over on theirs. Ten Haken up for Bisher. She tried to go for that far post, just wouldn't curl. I like the idea. If you've got the space, and you think that you can put the spin on it, especially with the wind coming back at you. That could have actually aided that shot, but it ended up going pretty straight overall. Nyland mishandled by Rentamales, and then she couldn't find possession of the ball. Here's Card. Going the other way is Bisher. Wargo right into Dean. And there is the halftime whistle. 45 minutes in the books plus a little extra. 2 goals, both of them in favor of NSA Shock. So they doubled up their lead within that first half. We'll see whether or not that holds up in the second 45. We'll take a quick break. When we come back, we'll have your second half of action. Back with more from Frisco after this.
The 2018 U.S. Youth Soccer National Championships are brought to you by AE Engine, AmericanEagle.com, Bag Tags, Bubba Burger, Cliff Kids, Dick's Sporting Goods, Expand a Brand, Fusionetics, Major League Soccer, Nestle's Nesquik, Nike, Positive Coaching Alliance, Premier International Tours, Soccer Shots, Sun-Made Raisins, Target, Turbo Sports Group, United Soccer Coaches, Wilson Trophy Company, and Yokohama.
It was 1935, the year that Elvis and Sandy Koufax were born. It was a year of many firsts, including the first NFL draft, the first Monopoly board game went on sale, Social Security began, and Babe Ruth hit his last home run. In addition to these milestones, the National Junior Challenge Cup was founded in 1935, offering a youth competition for young men in the United States. The cup was later named the James P. McGuire Cup, after the late U.S. soccer president, who himself was quite a standout in his earlier days, winning the U.S. Open Cup in 1929. McGuire would lead U.S. soccer and earn an international reputation as an excellent leader.
The Jim McGuire Cup was started in 1935. It was the only cup that the United States Soccer Federation had for youth players. And it was a very good competition, and I can tell you, I mean, this was the highlight of my soccer career, to be a champion in 1954.
This storied cup, now the oldest trophy in youth sport.
It has a history, it has a meaning, I think it has tradition. So I think it's extremely important for our competitions, for all the age groups, that kind of emulate the McGuire Cup.
Winning the McGuire Cup is huge, just because all that history that comes along with the oldest trophy in youth sports period, that's really big for us.
Who will write their name in the next chapter of the storied McGuire Cup?
forget last year. It's gone. Ancient history. It's time to forget about failure and how you came up short, how you missed the mark. Yeah, it's time to forget about the man you should have marked, the run you should have made. Remember that shot you should have taken? Time to let it all go. Forget about it. It's time to go to work. It's time.
Welcome back to Frisco, Texas. Todd Panula along with you here. Once again, want to thank you for watching this Turbo Sports production of the 2018 U.S. Youth Soccer National Championships. The championship game in the 19 and under group. On the girls' side, NSA Shock lead at the break, 2-0 over Utah FC. A 23rd minute goal, and then one in the 38th minute is the difference in this one. Utah FC will open up with possession, and they will need to get things going quickly. So we're underway here in the second 45. Utah FC need to strike quickly and then look for the equalizer later on. But they have to get that first one in the back of the net. Otherwise, this one is just going to be salted away by a very stingy defensive team from Naperville. They look inside the box and a quick chance upfield. Brought back out for Carson. Wind slightly aiding Utah FC right now, still basically coming right at our faces, right in your face as you're watching this stream. Just avoiding the arm of Bisher. Again, a decent job by Utah FC to find some possession, but space a precious commodity. Sievers trying to let this one run through, and it quickly catches up. So it'll be out for a goal kick. Alessio, a bit of an odd decision to place the goal kick, right in the middle. Most goalkeepers like to put it to one side or the other, but to each their own. Lobbed over the top by Brady, who's re-entered the game. Slicing one back in front, dangerously towards the line. Alessio leaps out, coming off her line and making the grab. First time that she's really been pressured within this game. And that right there shows you how much the wind has an effect. Alessio easily getting the balls to half field or longer on her punts and goal kicks. In the first half, not quite so right now. Schroyer had it taken away. Salveson laced one through the midfield. Becker. Trying to lob one over the top to Scholes. Siebers. Scholes again, lets it run through. Dean gets a piece of it. Here's Lucas under fire. Tolman's got the speed, but Cerna's got the height. Cerna just blasts that one out. Ben Boyd telling his team that he feels that they're flat right now. You do have to admit that there's been more energy for Utah FC. Perhaps subconsciously, NSA taking their foot off the gas just a little bit. No player ever does that on purpose, but when you have a scenario where you're up by 2 goals and the team you're facing looked outmatched in game number 1, managed to find a late equalizer, and didn't look even close to scoring, if we're honest, in the first half. Subconsciously, you're just going to lay off just a little bit, and that gap in the window might be just what Utah FC need to get back into this one as it goes off of Pestana, and it'll be a throw-in. Pestana didn't necessarily agree, somewhat surprised that Sievers was allowed to throw it in. And I'm sure the official has been told it how the game ended between these two teams, so not necessarily expecting a tight second half, but perhaps just aiming to keep some control. So the coaches might not like some of the fouls that are called, but if it ends up evening out in the end, that's all that really matters, as there was a hip check thrown. That would have been a good one for NHL 19, but not so much for USYS 18. Carson takes a bump. Becker looks to put it upfield. Here's Schroyer making the run here on the near side with Scholes. They finally find her, or trying to, but that's going to roll out with ease. Lucas trying to get it up top. Brady was there, gets it on the second attempt. Spackman. Swanson looking for Scholes. Spackman neatly around the defender. Sliding challenge puts it out. Schroyer. Her uniform a little bit more dirty now. The road to Texas for these two teams has not been a smooth one at all times. But they've managed to get themselves into this position, two of the best teams in the country. And right now, NSA Shock in control, trying to grab that championship. On the bounce, gets up towards midfield. Pastana to Tolman. Scholes with Dean right on her. Pastana holds it in. Dean calls off Scholes. Brady trying to go through to Donaldson. Ten Haken lets it go, and Alessia boots it away. Spackman, heavy touch. Ten Haken will send it out this time. No, it curls back into the wind. Carlson. Just a little fake, trying to gain some space. Almost out of the reach of Lucas. Just a little nudge from Swanson, letting her know that she's there. Same thing from Wargo, but this time the referee sees enough in it to blow the whistle. Headed away by Cerna. Not out of danger yet. Plenty of black jerseys in the space. Here comes Card. She's gonna loft one in. And that's out for the corner. Utah FC fans trying to urge their team on here, trying to find something. It's been all NSA Shock. But a good push from Utah FC here in the second half. Looking to cut the lead in half. Over the goalkeeper, loose in front, cleared off the line. Dean keeps it alive. Carson had it stolen away by Ten Haken. Siebers. That one went off the sliding challenge, and it'll be an NSA throw. A lot of words of encouragement from the NSA bench. Everybody's standing up, and now they're told to sit down. Lovely passing right now from Utah FC. Tolman on through, Spackman running on, takes the shot. Alessio the save. And she confidently charges out and covers up the loose ball. Solid goalkeeping from Bella Alessio. Stronger punt cuts through the wind this time, gets up towards half field, into touch. It'll go to Utah FC. Plane flying overhead. Schroyer with the header. Dean for Utah FC. And again, that's a little too direct. Tolman's got the wheels, but it was always going to end up in the possession of Alessio. Dean with Schroyer right on her back. Tolman with a little flick, but she was held up just enough and the ball ran through. Alessio, not too much time, has to get rid of it. And this one will go out. Good pressure coming in from Brady, forced that miscue. Tolman has had Cerna right on her back all game long. Donaldson, Carson. Right side now for Card. Numbers forward in black. Flicked on, but Brady just had to dive and stab at that one. Her footing betrayed her. First really good chance by Utah FC, put together by some quality passing. They've done a much better job in possession here in this half, but nothing yet to show for it. Again, up towards the box, and this time the free kick will be in an especially dangerous area. Just a few yards outside the box. Numbers in red coming back. Brady looking like she wants to take this one. This close, you would have to figure she's going to try to go for goal, depending on how many players get put in the wall. Perhaps they try to go for that upper 90 on the right-hand side. Right now, only 3 in the wall, joined by, now there's only going to be 3. Thought there was going to be a 4th in there. Substitute about to come in. Mary Kate Hansen will enter the game for NSA Shock. She replaces Amy Ten Haken. And they will try to set something up here defensively to keep the shutout on the board. Alessio trying to set her wall from the post. This is so central that there's going to be a lot of goal to cover right now. Alessio only electing to go with a 3-person wall and then sets up right in the middle of the goal. Brady has it sized up, just waiting for the whistle. Arm up in the air, goes for goal and got too far underneath. Decent idea there for Brady. You had a feeling that she was going to go for goal, but at this late stage, you can't necessarily waste opportunities, as we are now in the 15th minute. More players warming up along the sidelines, mostly for NSA. Schroyer was pushing forward, earns herself a throw. '61st minute overall. Time becoming a precious commodity now for Utah FC. Lobbing one over the top, dealt with by Salveson. Largo right back in. Pistana deals with it. Carson, nice weight on the ball. Tolman pushing up. Cerna's right on her. Tolman lays it back, but there's going to be too much on that. No, nicely held in by Pistana. Didn't give her enough credit for the wheels. Lucas, Donaldson, Dean, able to catch that one on the side foot. Tolman, again with Cerna right in her back pocket. Lucas, looked like the ball was won from our vantage point, but the referee had a different angle, says there was a foul. Once again, Brady will look to take it. Gonna go for goal, more curve on it this time, but it dipped at the wrong moment, and it ended up an easy catch for Alessio. Out of the reach of Dean, but this one will still roll into touch. Rather smartly taken away by Schroyer. Dispossessed ever so briefly, but earning herself a throw. Trying to give it over the top to Scholes. We'll do it all over again further down the pitch. Trying to give it back to Siebers. Salvesen was dispossessed, but player coming from an offside position was Scholes. So an easy free kick given. Hopefully you're all having a pleasant evening. Seven o'clock kickoff local time. These two teams have settled in now. The scoring chances have gone by the wayside. Utah FC with the best in this second half, but even then it wasn't truly enough to really trouble Alessio. Perhaps they can get one in towards goal now. Referee looked like he was going to pull the whistle out. Comes across, and that'll be a goal kick. It's in good position, decided it wasn't a penalty, much to the shouts of displeasure by the fans from Provo. But I think after that initial charge and shout from the fans, you know, if it doesn't continue, that the call was probably pretty correct. Carson. Now Lucas. 50-50 challenge. Again, the Utah fans wanting a foul and the referee having none of it. An equal challenge there, and the player just went down. Salveson. It's Schroyer right on her. Up through the midfield, intending that one for Tolman. But you have to wonder if she's starting to run out of gas. She's made plenty of sprints and had the much taller Kaylee Cerna right on her back pocket basically the entire game. Almost given away, just out of the reach. But it doesn't really matter, as it'll be a throw-in for Utah FC. Here's Pastana. Pastana to Lucas. Defended by Becker. Spackman. Trying to seek something out. Ended up playing it right into the teeth of the defense. Scholes. Swanson. Now Hansen. Into touch again. A trio of substitutes going to come into the game now for NSA Shock. Into the game is going to be Shayna Dudas, Aaron Flynn, and Sophia Sinise as they got extended rests after the halftime break. Coming out is Schroyer, Becker, and Scholes. If they want to be even, we will most likely have a water break at any moment. That decision is ultimately up to the officials, given the fact that the heat of the day has basically gone by the wayside. Here's Dudas laying one off nicely for Swanson. Puts it on the right foot. Just wouldn't come down. So they will indeed give equal opportunity to the water break. We'll have one here. '69th minute. Coach Brady trying to impart some words of wisdom down over on the Utah FC sideline. Not too much in the way of discussion between Coach Boyd and his players. Just a bit of tactics, making sure they're in the right spots on the field, knowing their positioning. Other than that, they've basically done everything that they needed to do here today so far. Still work to be done for Utah FC. They've only got roughly 21 minutes to score 2 goals. Not an impossible task, but it is a large ask, given the fact that they have only generated a couple scoring opportunities within this half alone, and pretty much the entire game. We'll restart things from the goal kick. Each bench shouting words of encouragement out to their players on the field. Not too much left that they can do. All the substitutes have pretty much been made for NSA. They do still have a couple players they could put back in, but for the most part, this will likely be the 11 that they will finish, give or take a player here or there. Swanson, a little heavy on the touch. Salveson. Soft touch, bringing the ball down. Lucas. Donaldson. Working it right, going for Spackman. She's able to win it, but only briefly. Giving right back. Card with that long stride. She had some area in front, but a hard tackle there from Bisher. Puts it in touch. Brady lunged in after the ball was lost. Created a bit of space so she could regain it. Swanson. Quickly thrown in. Flynn taps it around. Nielsen coming out, and that one just barely rolled long enough into the 18 for her to make the grab. Nervy moments for the goalkeeper. Anytime that ball is not quite got the speed to come in towards the 18, you're kind of stuck there once you decide to try to make the pickup. Fortunately for her, it did end up going into the 18. Here's Pastana. She'll hold it in, and then a heavy touch. Visibly frustrated. Dean up for Tolman. She takes a spill, no foul forthcoming. Salveson looking up for Carson. Instead it's Donaldson. Probably should have continued on through the center. Card lays it back for Salveson. Throw in for Utah FC. Donaldson to Brady. Poked away at the last moment. Flynn being made to do a little bit of extra running. Salveson with pressure on and making the steal. Back to the midfield. Set up for Dudas. Challenging the defender, but Dean right there. Giving away at the top of the box. And then Carson just sends it to the near wing. Lucas lets it run through. Salveson is there. Now a foot race. Tolman's going to win it. Cerna's got a long stride though. Tolman throws a shoulder in. Tolman tried to serve one in, had a decent amount of loft on it, but nobody really there. Siebers able to make the steal. Tolman stuck a foot in. Neatly chipped over. The question is, will it stay in? It does. Now here comes Sinise. Oh, she had Flynn out in the middle, and she was just begging for it. Wargo for Flynn, cracks in the defense now. A third goal cannot be scored from the point of view of Utah FC. This one goes out. It'll be a goal kick. NSA already knowing that they're in full control of this one, but third goal would basically be unable to be overcome. Card with a heavy foot, lobbing one over the top. Tolman there, little shove in the back of Cerna, trying to do the same a second time. And the third attempt was not enough to gain control. They will gain off the throw. Lucas. Donaldson, give and go, spotted well by Siebers. Dean with the steal, rolls the foot over the top. Near side for Pastana. A rare bit of space in front, but then just too much red inside the box. Still some applause from Coach Brady. These are those moments where you have to look for any bit of positivity if you're a Utah FC. You have to build off of something. Roughly 13 minutes left in this half. There might be a bit of stoppage time added on, but if nothing really changes, there hasn't been any injuries or goals scored. As of right now, that 23rd minute goal by Aaron Flynn stands to be the game winner. Coming back into the game is Messina, and she replaces Wargo. Wargo getting a hug from her teammates as they start to feel the inevitable creep in. Utah FC not ready to give up. Siebers almost got too cute with it. Couldn't be handled now by Salveson. Flynn looking for the brace. Card just plays it near side. Judas on the throw. More frustration. Pastana trying to give it off to Dean. Salveson. Every loose ball seems to be met by a red shirt. Carson. Siebers now. Through the wickets, poked away by Pastana. Tolman taken out. The foul correct. Will we see a card? Official will go to the pocket, into the book. Yellow card handed out to Caitlin Bisher. So yellow card to Caitlin Bisher in the 80th minute. Only about 10 minutes and change left into this one as it got over the top of everybody. It was a little bit difficult to handle for Alessio. She saw it just a bit late. Took an awkward hop off the grass. Alessio hoping for the icing on the cake and the clean sheet. Dean. This one will roll out. Messina thought about chasing it down and decided she had no need. Went over the shoulder of Dudas, and now Dean. Up the sideline, but nobody there. Not really enough time for balls like that. Need to keep in possession. Carson couldn't win it, gets it on the second attempt. Had to be chopped away from Swanson on the sliding tackle. Through the midfield, Tolman has been ever present in possession, but just hasn't been able to find any space. There's always been a defender on her. 9 times out of 10, it's been Kaylee Cerna. Speak of the devil, Cerna comes up with the ball, sends it away. Up towards the fencing on the far side. NSA in control, just out of the reach of Sinise. Dean sends it up, not quite over. Swanson, space to look. Lobs one over, Sinise to Flynn, card right there. Flynn cuts back towards the end line. A diving stab from Card sends it out for the throw. One-timer from Dudas. She was hoping for her second goal of the tournament. That just kind of rolled off the top of the foot a little too much. Couldn't get that knee over the ball. Into the game again is Brock Bank, and she replaces Alyssa Spackman. So Brock Bank, who started the contest, will have an opportunity to finish it. Card. Looking up top for Brady. Again, the defenders just too many as Bisher was there. Not there for Pastana, but she took down the defender. Sieber's a little worse for wear now. Lucas gets a leg to it. Flynn does as well as it's bandied about back and forth. Into touch again. So there's a hard collision over on the far side. We'll have a substitution. NSA will put a fresh leg in. Coming into the game is Caitlin Joniak. Joniak replaces Hansen. And we'll get things back underway. 86th minute of play. What has been likely is starting to seem inevitable. This NSA looking like they are going to be victorious and get a national championship. Siebers trying to run this one out. A little awkward in doing so, but rolls out nevertheless. It's been a solid effort for both teams, but the tale of the tape is basically that NSA have been able to take advantage of their opportunities, whereas Utah FC have both not created enough and not taken advantage either. They've played a solid game overall. Not too much anything anybody could do about the 2 goals that were scored. It wasn't as though they were glaring mistakes, howlers by the goalkeeper, anything like that. Just solid goals scored. So we get a foul over on the far sideline. Numbers forward in black. Everybody except Salveson is basically inside the box or within 5 yards. Nicely weighted ball, falls down inside the 6-yard box. Alessio had come out off her line, didn't make the claim, but not made to be paid for it. Tolman, one touch, looking for the far side. Lucas, players going to ground left and right for Utah FC, trying to get a free kick in a dangerous area, but the official saying no each time. Salveson pushed it up, intending that for Dean, and instead it ends up with Sinise. She puts it into the middle of the field, but only Bruckbank finds possession and then clears it out. Brady was desperately trying to chase that one down, but once she realized it was going to go out in her favor, she stood up. '88th minute of play. Time ticking away on this one. Dean going for that back post. Alessio out, makes the grab. Dean up the sideline for Donaldson. In through the middle, and again, just red everywhere. Final minute of play here in regulation. Can't imagine there's too much going to be added on to the end of this one. Although they couldn't see directly, it did seem like there were multiple fingers put up by the official, signaling his fourth. Utah FC with a chance as that one came in, but Alessio right there. Foul goes Utah FC's way. 3 minutes of stoppage time going to be added on, as we have now entered stoppage time, so the 3 minutes begin. And right now it's just a waiting game for Utah FC. All their players up off the bench. Trying to flick this one on, coming loose. Goal kick. It's close enough now that the ladies from Naperville can taste it. It's been a very good tournament for Utah FC. They finished second in their group, going 1-0-2, so no losses up until today. But today was just not to be theirs. 2 draws against AFC Lightning and NSA in the group stage. And then the 7-0 victory over Invictus. Looking for a goal here. Alessio with a big save, keeping the clean sheet for now. She wants that clean sheet. The 1 goal allowed to NSA is the only goal that allowed to Utah FC is the only goal that NSA have allowed all tournament long. And in fact, the first goal that they've allowed in quite some time. They are just an excellent defensive team. That one just sliced past the post. It'll be a corner kick though. Almost 2 minutes of the 3 have been played. Out over on the corner. Again, almost everybody forward in black except for the kick taker and 1 defender. This one falls towards the near post, loose inside the 6, and Alessio makes the grab. The cheers growing ever louder here from the NSA bench as they're ready to charge out on the field. Dean lays it back for Salveson. Tolman brings it down. Again, the defender right next to her. Messina. As the wind picks up again. Trying to lob one forward to Flynn. Utah FC can do nothing now but try to defend and finish out this game. Back over the top, Card. Forced to play it. Nobody in forward in red, and there it is! The final whistle. 2-0 your final. NSA Shock defeat Utah FC. And the team from Naperville, Illinois are national champions. Players down on the ground for Utah FC. A heartbreaking time for sure. I've said it often, I'll say it again. The second place finishers have the hardest way to go. They get medals, they earn accolades, but it's only years from now perhaps that they'll be able to look back and realize what they accomplished during this season. But all the joy and all the glory goes to NSA Shock. They came out, they scored the first goal just as they had in the group stage. Erin Flynn got her 3rd goal of the tournament, scoring back in the 23rd minute of the game. They would add an insurance goal in the 38th minute, but that would not be needed. The 1 goal was all they had to have, as Bella Alessio pitches the shutout, keeps the clean sheet. And now NSA are national champions. Don't go anywhere, fans. We are going to have the trophy presentation for you in just a moment once they bring it out. The players have already been handed their national champions t-shirts. The fans over on the far sideline celebrating with the team, and now they'll have an opportunity to congratulate them in person as they head over towards the sideline. And I was wrong, they were actually championship hats, my mistake. The championship presentation coming up for you momentarily with the trophy. And remember, there will be a link down in the description of this video once it is finished, and that link will lead you to the second stream once the players head over towards the main stage where they will get their medals. But that could be some time from now. We said it would be about 15 minutes afterwards, and with players over on the sideline, hugs being handed out, congratulations given. It's a situation where that is very fluid. But it's been an awesome tournament here in this age bracket. Start to finish, there have been some quality games. As we mentioned, Utah FC doing themselves proud. They went through the group stages without a defeat. 1 win and 2 draws, 9 goals for. By the end of this tournament, they will have given up 4 goals if you include today's match. Only 2 goals allowed coming in. But NSA Shock were just not to be outdone here today or this year. They came in going through the group stage at 2-0-1, only 5 goals scored, but the most important thing was only 1 goal allowed, scoring 3 goals against Invictus, 1-0 over AFC Lightning, and then the draw against Utah FC in the group stage. So they finish with a 3-0-1 record, 7 goals to their ledger, and only 1 goal allowed all tournament long. So an impressive defensive showing. Bella Alessio will get plenty of credit for that, but she's more than willing, as most goalkeepers are, to give praise to her defenders. The Siebers sisters had a lot to do with that, as well as Kaylee Cerna, who did an excellent job shutting down Tiana Tolman here tonight, and just did an excellent job overall in this tournament. All the defenders really, Amy Tenhaken, basically everybody kind of joining in, even Caitlin Bisher, who started off in more of an attacking midfield role, pushed back towards the wing back later on. And really just a solid defensive effort. The players throughout the country could learn a thing from this NSA Shock team about how to play solid defense. It's not all about scoring goals. It's not all about getting the glory. Sometimes keeping the ball out of the net is just as important as putting it in, as that has really been what has won this championship here this year for NSA Shock. So the teams have been handed their championship hats, and that will just about do it for us. I believe they've actually taken the trophy over to the main stage as well, so that will be handed out coming up in the medal ceremony. And once again, that'll take place in just about 10-15 minutes, so look for the description at the bottom of this video, but that will do it for us here. For our great camera crew, for Jordy turning the switches back under the tent, I'm Todd Panula. For everybody here at Turbo Sports, we thank you for watching, and good night. I think they've done whatever they're going to do. I think they've done whatever they're going to do so we can stop Back out again. And the corner kick in, a decent left foot right out towards the penalty spot. Shot came in. And that now a loose ball comes in towards the box. The shot scrapes back out again. Another decent cross, tough to handle. Score! Siebers. Now another chance to save. Rebound. Argo. A chance for Siebers. Now another chance to save. Rebound loose. Another shot. Score! Second half. Looking to cut the lead in half. Over the goalkeeper. Loose in front. Cleared off. Right now from Utah FC. Tolman on through. Spackman running on. Takes the shot. Arm up in the air. Goes for goal and got too far underneath. Look to take it. Gonna go for goal. More curve on it this time. But laying one off nicely for Swanson. Puts it on the right foot. By the official, signaling his fourth 7-0 victory over Invictus. Looking for a goal here. Alessio with a